What's up? Welcome back to the channel. We're here at Loggerhead Golf again for episode 2 of the Break 80 series. Let's go inside and see what the guys have in store for me today.
What's going on, man?
How are y'all?
Good.
Good.
Ready to get to work? So Blair, obviously today you've come in, you've had your swing assessment.
Yep.
We've kind of put together a bit of a game plan for how we want to tackle your golf swing and help you break 80. So we're going to work on that today.
Let's go.
What we'll have you do, starting out, Blair, grab your 7-iron. Let's make a few swings, just loosen up, warm up a bit. Cool. So Blair, we're going to run you through a couple of things we have highlighted or noted about your golf swing from that analysis you did with Daryl. Some things we want to work on today. Nicky, if you don't mind, can you go back to setup here? So in setup, we have to say right off the bat, your posture looks very good and athletic. We do have a slight bias to the left, so we can see our stance. We've got a little pressure bias to the left. So we're going to focus on today getting your feet, hips, shoulders, all squared back up to the target.
Okay.
And then our one real big golf swing thing, we can kind of let the backswing happen here. Nicky, play it through that. Well, so you do a good job in your initial set of the golf club and getting turned. And as we continue into the backswing, the rotation of the hips will start to stall out. And we start to have just a little bit of tilt here at the top of our backswing.
So it stalls out about
Left arm parallel.
left arm parallel. Got it.
So what we want to see you work on today, Blair, we're going to try to get you a little deeper in your hip rotation and getting to that right hip just a little bit more.
Ultimately, what we saw from numbers-wise, club path is a little on the extreme side of what we typically want to see. So in working on that setup, getting your hips turning a little deeper, what that'll do too is change your hand path. Your hand path will get a little more depth and you'll use more of your shoulders. So kind of like what Daryl talked about with you, it's like, turning behind the ball. Well, we're going to help create that to happen naturally, I would say. We're going to essentially try to get this club head a little more back on plane and go from there.
Let's get into it.
All right.
Cool. Let's do it.
So my feet right now, you can see on the screen, they're skewed open.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little
I
bit.
need to close
Now,
them a little bit.
I was saying your toes can still be flared
You're right.
if that's comfortable. It's
Yep.
just more or less in your pressure points. You have a little more weight in your left heel
obviously.
and a little more weight in your right toe, so
Right.
your hips
So
are going to be
we're
open.
gonna go opposite of that. We've got a little more weight in the left heel, right toe right now. It's pulled that pressure to the left. We're going to try to move opposite that. We're going to get a little more toward the mid of the foot and the right foot.
So I need to get more pressure on my
Yeah,
right
they
foot.
see how that.
See, like that's extreme, but you see how.
Right.
So more pressure in the mid of the back foot.
Middle of the back foot.
Perfect.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good swing there.
First ball in 2 days. I started online.
All right.
It's amazing what a little foot pressure would do.
All right.
Is that good?
Yes, sir.
So when I'm looking at these numbers, I want it to be like what? About 58, 60% in the back foot?
We're really deep diving into it. In our iron play, we'd probably want to have just a slight bit more pressure in our left foot or our lead
In our
foot.
left
like
foot.
53, 55%.
At start.
Foot. At start.
At start.
Right.
Just getting a feel for it.
I'll say, and to be quite honest with you, Blair, since you are a feel kind of player, take you a moment, bounce around on the pad, kind of see how the pressure moves when you move around and what you feel like you need to do to straighten that pressure out a little.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's kind of what I was doing.
Yeah, just play around with it.
Like it looks like I'm just waggling, but I'm just trying to get
Feel it. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
the
exactly.
feel for the pressure.
Perfect.
Chunky.
There you go. That's a good swing there, Blair.
Smoked.
All right, so we're kind of getting a little more comfortable with
You're setting up square every time.
setting up square every time now.
Yep.
Right? So we want to make just a slight tweak to the shoulder setup here at address. We want to bring those shoulders, get that right shoulder, feel like you move it just a little bit back. Okay, so that's the same thing we did with the feet. We're going to do that with the
Back and
shoulders.
slightly down.
Yeah. So just a little bit deeper in that right shoulder.
There we go.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
So more, it feels like I'm more back on the back foot though.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all right.
He's turning. You know, so biggest thing, and looking at the top of the swing here, we don't have as much reverse, you know, that
You
reduced.
swing a little easier right now. Is what
Yeah.
that will have.
Can you play this through real quick?
Yeah.
It's easier for me to make a change.
Yeah.
If I can see the swing.
Yeah, yeah.
I can replicate that in my brain and put it into
Yes, you can
practice.
kind of see the left shoulder, that right shoulder just a little lower here at setup, and then you'll be able to see just a little bit of the left shoulder peeking behind the right shoulder at setup.
Yeah.
Well, here too.
Is that good?
Yep.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
See, it feels like I'm tilted like a driver swing though.
Yeah, but you're not.
Not.
Okay.
Just so you've just kind of gotten used to having so much of your upper body stacked to your left side.
Mm-hmm.
But Blair, have you ever taken any lessons before?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I've done some video lessons with some of my friends that are coaches around the world
Mm-hmm.
or tour coaches. And I'm good with that at points because you tell me a feel, I can go replicate it.
Right.
But I haven't been able to put it into practice long term
Okay.
because
What do you
they're
think
in
has held
Dubai or Canada or wherever.
So what do you feel like has held you back with that? Yeah.
Just the fact that they're like, I can't go work with them.
So the access.
Like,
So,
I can come in
face
here,
to face.
I can
Yeah.
come in here, and Nikki or Caleb or Daryl, you can be like, Blair, you need to do this, and then get your club here,
Right.
and you can show me where to go.
And you can
Whereas
feel that. I got
you don't have that online,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
I need the feel part of it.
Now, how are you tracking your progress?
I got gin,
Okay.
scores in gin.
So we're going to probably work on that sometime.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Because I see on the screen, and you guys are the professionals of this, so you should probably tell me if this is bad or good. But I'm seeing me like cast a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking like, all right, going through the setup, get your shoulder back, get all this stuff. But then my impact should look like this,
Right.
not this.
Correct.
So I'm thinking that as I like set up to the ball,
Well-
and like, all right, your impact's there, here.
Yeah. Mental imagery is pretty powerful, right? If we can imagine what we want to do, our brain is a lot more likely to create something that we want. Now we want to feel is that you get a little deeper into that right hip. So if we go ahead and set up to a golf shot here, since you are more feel based, so go ahead and take the golf club kind of to that shaft parallel. There you go. And then go ahead and start to hinge and move it more into your top of your backswing. So what we want to feel here is instead of a tilt toward target with the upper body, the upper body's going to stay where it was, and we want to feel like we press into this left or right hip a little more. There you go. You may need to use a little bend in there, flexing the right leg.
And you stretch a little bit for that too.
to help maintain that, okay? So if take a couple practice swings and try to feel like you maintain a little bend in the right leg to help you maintain that rotation.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That was pretty good on the first one. That looked good there.
But I like that this feels like a more just athletic movement for
Yeah, I
me.
was gonna say, and pull up this swing from before and show him top of back swing there.
Yeah, can you see before and after?
So. Pretty big difference there. So it's hard to see just because of breakdown.
The club is a little more laid off here
Yeah.
than it is there. That one's a little upright. Looks like it's deeper too.
Yep.
Notice how here the
Oh,
back is almost tilted this way, right?
Here
And
compared
there.
to
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. And then obviously it's hard to see it, but you do have a little bit more knee flexion because see how your leg's a little straighter in that backswing rather than over here, you know, your knee is just slightly kind of outside
Yeah.
that upper leg.
For the
So-
longest time, especially with longer clubs, I was thinking about getting into this left leg, or getting into the right leg rather.
Yeah.
So I was like rotating back, getting it real straight,
Right.
and then going back through, which is not good.
That's what I say. But
That's me doing YouTube lessons on my own at night
when
after a couple
when
glasses
you lock
of wine.
that right leg out, yeah, you feel like you've really gotten into that right hip, but you haven't.
Yeah.
You just tilted. You know,
yeah.
It's artificial rotation.
And like there's a lot of players that do lock that right leg out and turn their hips, but what they are doing though at that point is they have to make a real conscious effort to move their upper body to where they're not stacking. Now there's still people that stack and tilt. Charles Howell III
Right.
is most known for it, but
All right, so Blair, we're going to give you a couple of drills that you can work on here.
Okay.
So first one we're going to do is what we're going to call like our torque or rotation drill. So in this drill is what we use here, and as we kind of talk about, and we're learning through Swing Catalyst, right? We have different forces that happen in the golf swing. So we can use our setup and manipulate our setup a little bit to help us focus on one force more than another. So if we're working on torque, what might we do with our feet to help us work on rotation? Would I get really wide in my stance? Would I bring my feet closer together?
Bring closer together, right?
Right, because that's going to make us have to do what?
To rotate more.
Well, so if I bring my feet really close together, can I move outside of my center?
No.
No, because I'm going to fall over. So I have to focus on rotation. Okay. So in this drill, we'll have you jump back up here now. So start out with your typical normal full swing setup. And then what you're going to want to do is just bring your feet in close together. Now you got a tool here in your hand to help you measure how far your feet are apart so you can get this right every time or accurate. So take the golf club and measure, just turn that head sideways, one club head width, perfect, okay? So we don't want to get any wider than that. And now what we're going to do here, Blair, is we're going to make smooth swings. I would say on an effort scale, we're probably at like a 2 or 3 in effort out of 10.
Okay.
So very smooth, very fluid swings here. And we're only going to swing really to about hip high to hip high, okay? Now what you'll want to feel is in that hip high on the backswing, you're really deep in that right hip, okay? You've got your knee flexion. You've worked on those things, come up, we've worked on that full swing. You're going to feel that hip flexion there. So go to that backswing and pause there. Give a little bend in that right leg. Right? So you're going to feel that rotation. Now in our follow through, where do we want to finish on our follow through?
On the left leg, right?
On the left foot, exactly right. Where more specifically on the left foot would I want to finish?
Middle of the left foot.
In the heel of the left foot.
Heel of the left
Right.
foot. All right.
So I'm working on torque, I'm working on rotation. If I want to have rotation, I have to get my pressure to turn that corner and move through my left heel. Okay? So if you're making swings when you're practicing this drill, if you have your follow through and you follow through and you notice you're pressing down on your left toes, what didn't you do?
Get in the left heel.
Well, you didn't rotate, right?
Okay.
So that means we need to work and get that rotation moving into that left heel. So you want to finish in your follow through pretty good there, actually.
Like that?
Exactly.
see how you fell back?
in that right heel or that left heel. I'll say you might fall backwards after the swing. I always kind of like to use, when I work on this myself, Blair, I like to kind of use, if I can wiggle my left toes in my follow through, I probably finish in my left heel, okay? Yeah, really good. And then you can actually, too, as you get more comfortable with it, these slower speeds, you can add some more speed to it, all the way to the point where you're like maximum effort. And the reason being there is now you have to work a little harder, right, to get to that that left heel and follow through. I will tell you one thing to be cautious of as you get a little more speed in this. Be conscious that you do not start to tilt at the top of your backswing. That was really good. So make sure you stick with your rotation, get deeper in that right hip, okay?
Yep.
Yeah,
Beauty.
awesome.
This is actually probably really good shot to have in the bag. In the trees.
Punch out game, elite.
Strokes gained, punching out.
Strokes gained from the trees.
Yeah, awesome.
So actually, you probably need this.
Yep. Yeah, really good.
And the crazy thing enough, really good wedge players,
They do this all the time.
this is what they do. This is how you flight the ball a little lower, manage that loft a little better. Yep.
Yeah.
Beauty. Yeah, so I mean, biggest thing, we're looking at direct changes. I'll go average here. Kind of more or less, we're doing all field-based stuff, letting the numbers kind of take care of itself. So looking at contact, we're much closer. We're in the center of the club, even slightly on the toe side, which is a lot better than the alternative where we were yesterday. So, you know, the efficiency's just gone. You pointed it out earlier. It's gone through the roof. And then I also want to pull the table up here too, because, you know, we really didn't talk about the golf club itself. So when we first started, high sevens, we get down, our club path is starting to get much more neutral. Right.
5, 6,
yeah, 5. You've thrown some 4s in there, and then we've seen some 2s. Yeah, there's the 3s. So, and that's a little drill. So that's the thing. We're trying to make as many setup and field-based changes before we really tackle what's going on with that club.
Yeah. But it already feels better.
Yes.
Right? Like
Yeah.
from my setup here
Yeah.
to like knowing, okay, I'm closing it a little bit. And even the setup changes are going to change like my club, path, face, all that stuff.
Right.
So it feels.
I was going to say, there's only one thing that I want him to be aware of when he leaves here. So go ahead and do that again.
Yeah.
So as you're turning back, you were kind of doing those little practice takeaways. So when you start taking the club back and you're sinking into that right hip, just watch lifting those arms up. You don't want to lift. This is where you keep that turning, right? So that's where you use that kind of left shoulder of your chest to rotate with it. Which, you know, it's funny.
So it's not here.
No.
Correct.
It's getting to the back here.
And then
this.
there we
Yeah,
go.
there
Good.
you go.
Much better. Which it's funny enough, it's not so much that I think you're not doing that in your swing. You actually get a little more depth in your swing.
Yeah.
It was when you were doing those rehearsals,
Yeah.
you were kind of lifting. So,
Yeah.
which, you know, I don't want you to create that as a habit.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
There we go. Good. That might be like 1. Yeah.
Really good.
All right. So what do I need to do to keep track of this progress until we meet again next time?
I say for your practice sessions wise and kind of a plan for our practice sessions, obviously we want to continue. We want to use that rotation drill we introduced today. Start out your practice routines with that.
Okay.
Get yourself loosened up with it. As you feel comfortable in that practice routine, move into your full swing. Okay, with that full swing, obviously we're going to double check our setup, get square, feet, shoulders, hips, and working on getting deeper in that rotation. So in a practice session, we might spend, if we say we got an hour practice time, we might spend 20 to 25 minutes in that drill. Right, we're there to rehearse it as much. It might hit it perfect the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
But we want to rehearse.
Keep going.
Keep going with it.
Yep.
And then move into full swing. Things to take note of while you're practicing: start line. Okay. If we start getting or seeing start line starting well left of our intended target line, we know we're probably letting that path get a little more aggressive over the left or right than what we wanted to.
Yeah.
So that means we need to work on our rotation a little more.
Yep.
Back into that drill, get a little deeper in the rotation.
Yep.
Okay. As far as our golf game, what do we want to track while we're playing golf?
My biggest thing is when you go play golf. Now I always say, if you know you're just going to play golf, right? If you go on the golf course to practice, I give myself a self score for the hole. I call it preparation score. So I base it on 1 to 5, 5 being great, 1 being really bad. I try to track down and write on the scorecard, did I pick my target? Did my ball start on target? And then I just write down where the ball ended up.
That'll help us give some more information when we go into that gap fitting here and start to understand where are we hitting our shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously I'll kind of show you how that looks on the course when we go on the course. But, you know, because that's the biggest thing is I try to where we're talking about on that range, picking that one target, that's how we hit shots on the golf course. So it should be easy to translate from there to where it's almost like no matter what, every time you play golf, it's almost like a pseudo, practice. And then also you have a checks and balances.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So
Fix things, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank
Cool.
you guys. Don't forget
Yeah,
to
man.
like, subscribe, follow me at Blair Wheeler, follow Loggerhead Golf.
Yeah.
And tune in again next time.